Hey, happy Memorial Day, everybody. Yes, I'm streaming today because you guys kept asking for Eli Cox. You want a Eli Cox video, undrafted rookie free agent out of Kentucky. He's played mostly center in college, but has also played guard. 6'4", 305 pounds. Not alarmingly small, but not a big size guy. And that's one of the reasons he didn't go drafted was a lot of really good stuff on his film. Let's just bring it up and start watching him, and I'll show the good stuff. He is fluid, and then in zone schemes or out in space, he gets downfield, finds people in the open space, keeps his feet moving all the time. Like, he does everything he can to do what he can with his God-given abilities, and a lot of times it's enough. He had a good college career, but when you see him getting out on space, wheeling his hips around, he's seems pretty knowledgeable about what he's supposed to do in the run game. At least there were times where, especially going against some of the bigger defensive tackles, I didn't see a whole lot of displacement. He gets in the right position, but he's got short arms and the small hands. Just upper body in general doesn't have a whole lot of length, so he sometimes struggles to sustain versus bigger guys. But there's a lot of evidence versus Texas, some of the other schools like Georgia that have big defense. Georgia took a break from their mutant academy for freakish defensive tackles, but he did a good job against a lot of those bigger guys. So it's really a matter of when you see here in pass protection, his feet get real wide. He's really straining to do everything he can versus those bigger guys. It just sometimes falls a little bit short. But in the run game, you'll see he gets around on guys. He keeps his feet moving constantly on combo blocks. I think he does a really good job rooting guys out. You just don't necessarily see him imposing his will as much as guys that end up getting drafted a lot higher than he did. That the athleticism and the ability to reach defensive tackles in a wide zone scheme, all of that would have been awesome for Bobby Slowick. We have no idea exactly how much outside zone Nick Caley's going to want to run versus traditional stuff. But I think there's definitely an upside here. And I think about, Chris Myers was a guy who was drafted a lot higher. And by that, I mean drafted. Where was Chris? Mid-rounds, upper mid-rounds. Not a real big guy, but very athletic and did the absolute best that he could with his hands. And he figured out ways to overcome being a smaller guy. The guys from the days of old, go back to the Oilers, Mark Stepnoski was phenomenal at being an undersized guy, but just being so good with his technique. If you got short arms, and just to show you the spider chart on him, it looks a little bit like a center version of Jalen Knoll. It's got all the athletic things that you want. Great vertical, great 40, great broad jump. All these things well above average amongst offensive linemen. But on the wingspan, arm length, hand size, body weight, height, he's lacking a little bit. So he's got to make up for it. And plenty of guys have. The guy, I guess the example, I'm going to show you the same spider chart for Kendrick Green. Because remember, Kendrick Green was drafted in the third round to be a starter for the Steelers at center. He was freakishly athletic, but very, very small. He's short as 6'2". And you can see sometimes when Kendrick Green, where his lack of length comes to hurt him. Like, you got to be so much better on the athletic side and on the technique side of things that'll be the challenge. That'll be the challenge for Eli Cox. But there's definitely something there. Watching him, I actually watched him mic'd up, and one of his coaches was using him as a blocking dummy here and making a point to somebody else. But I think it's probably a good point for Eli Cox himself, something he needs to work on.
Right? It's what? It's play side number and press, and then get what? Right?
Yeah, so, I mean, in the first example he showed there, it was a guy just kind of wheeling his hips around and getting position, but not playing with a whole lot of power. That's what Eli Cox does a lot. And it's hard to figure because, yes, the arm length is an issue, but he is very athletic for a guy his size. He's, one of the more athletic centers at the combine this year. So the power is in there somewhere. And this might be a Cole Popovich special. Maybe over the course of the next 2 years, if Cole Popovich ends up being a good offensive line coach, this would be a nice little project for him to have. I would think right now I wouldn't put him ahead of Juice Scruggs or Jarrett Patterson, but I think there's going to be genuine competition there. So he'll have a chance to work his way onto the roster. Good little pep talk from Eli Cox in this mic'd up, just so you get a look at him.
This is what we're talking about, the building.
Yep.
Okay, pocket presence was better today, right? Okay, well, it better be good every day. Now, what are we going to do to get better on top of that?
Keep stacking. We gotta
Stack
keep stacking.
these little things, man. Once we fix something, we can't say, all right, great, we're good at that, let's do something else.
Right.
We got to keep stacking the details. Let's go.
6 years in college. The man is mature. He's going to turn 25 this year. Not that that's a huge consideration right now. Let's worry about that if he earns a second contract. I'm intrigued by him. I'm going to be watching him closely out at camp this year. So I'll keep doing some of these UDFAs and late round draft picks over the next few weeks. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. Be careful. Be safe. Take care of each other out there on the roads.